Around 1524, Catherine Howard was born into a noble family, though her upbringing was anything but privileged. As a niece of Thomas Howard, Duke of Norfolk, she carried the name of one of England's most powerful families. But her initial years were spent in relative neglect and limited supervision, which shaped much of her early experiences. Catherine was sent to the household of Agnes Howard, the Dowager Duchess of Norfolk, where young ladies were commonly taught the arts of becoming accomplished women. It was here that Catherine faced the aggressive attention of several men. As a vulnerable girl, away from parental supervision, she was manipulated by people who saw her simplicity as an opportunity to exploit her. Catherine's beauty attracted unwanted advances, most notably from her music teacher, Henry Mannix, who engaged her in an inappropriate relationship when she was barely more than a child. At Lambeth Palace, Catherine caught the eye of Francis Dereham, a gentleman usher who took advantage of her lack of guardianship. He manipulated her into an intimate relationship, promising marriage, an exchange that was considered binding at the time. Despite the tarnished beginnings, Catherine's beauty and charm brought her to the centre stage of Henry VIII's court. She caught the king's eye, and amidst pressure from her ambitious family, she was thrust into the position of Queen Consort, marrying a 49-year-old Henry in 1540. Henry was overweight and unhealthy, a stark contrast to the vibrant young Catherine. He also had a rotten leg wound which wouldn't heal. Totally infatuated and smitten, Henry was eager for a son. His court noted how much time he spent with her and his eagerness to please. Catherine was charming, lively and affectionate, with a warm and playful manner. The imperial ambassador Eustace Chapuis called her a rose without a thorn. She loved music, dancing, fine clothes and courtly pageantry. Her youthful energy was a refreshing contrast to Henry's previous queen. Catherine didn't exert much influence over state affairs, but she revived the king's spirits after a period of disillusionment and ill health. Henry doted on her, showering her with jewels and gifts, and her charm restored some glamour to his aging court. As queen, however, Catherine found herself in a suffocating world where political games dictated her every move. It was here that Lady Jane Rochford would incite the beginning of the end. Lady Jane Rochford, who was previously married to the executed George Boleyn, Anne Boleyn's brother, was acting as Catherine's lady-in-waiting. Jane set up and encouraged an affair between Catherine Howard and Thomas Culpeper. Thomas Culpeper, a gentleman of the King's Privy Chamber, pursued Catherine, leveraging her vulnerability and isolation. Ignoring the dangerous implications, their affair was carried out under the looming threat of discovery. Lady Jane Rochford would help to arrange secret meetings. Queens in Tudor times were almost never alone in the modern sense of the word. Their lives were governed by strict ceremony, and they were constantly surrounded by a large household of attendants. Even in their most private moments, Jane's part was crucial. It is unclear of what motivated Jane, as there is no single theory supported by evidence. However, it is speculated that Jane could have had a romantic interest in Culpeper. She may have had a grudge towards Catherine, perhaps felt pressured, or that potentially she sought power for herself. In 1541, Catherine Howard's enjoyable days as queen came crashing down. Embroiled in scandal, the details of her past dalliances and current affair with Culpeper were uncovered. Allegations of unchaste conduct before marriage and adultery after marriage reached Archbishop Thomas Cranmer through informants, including members of her former household. Francis Dereham, a former lover, boasted of his past relationship with Catherine. Rumours also spread about her secret meetings. Cranmer presented the accusations to King Henry VIII. In writing, Henry was initially disbelieving, but soon enraged, ordering a full investigation. On November 2nd, 1541, Catherine Howard was arrested at Hampton Court Palace. Confined to her apartments under guard, it is alleged she broke free, running down the gallery screaming Henry's name, pleading. Henry would never see her again. Catherine was taken to Sion Abbey for detention before being sent to the Tower of London. Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury, Thomas Wriothesley, Secretary of State, and Thomas Audley, Lord Chancellor, would act as her interrogators. Francis Dereham's confession admitted to a sexual relationship with Catherine before her marriage. He claimed they were pre-contracted, a promise of marriage, which could invalidate her union with Henry. Thomas Culpeper's confession admitted to secret late-night meetings with Catherine during her queenship, although he denied full adultery, instead pleading only to intention of it. Catherine was intensely questioned. She acknowledged Dereham's past relationship, but insisted it was youthful folly, not sin. Catherine denied adultery with Culpeper before begging mercy from the king, declaring she had been a light-minded girl. Both Dereham and Culpeper were found guilty of high treason and executed in December 1541. Lady Rochford, who had assisted in arranging the meetings, was also arrested and later condemned. However, Catherine's crimes did not fit the existing definition of high treason. Adultery by a queen was treason only if consummated with intent to harm the king. Henry's ministers introduced a special Act of Attainder passed by Parliament in February 1542. This act allowed Catherine and her alleged accomplices to be condemned without trial. The act also expanded the law of treason to cover concealing sexual history before marriage to the king, even intent or planning adultery with another man after marriage. Thus, Catherine could be legally executed despite the lack of clear proof of adultery. On the eve of her execution, Catherine Howard asked for the beheading block to be brought to her so she could practice by way of experiment. She was determined to show composure at her execution. On February 13, 1542, Catherine Howard and Lady Rochford were taken out to Tower Green within the Tower of London. Jane was executed immediately before Catherine. Catherine Howard was terrified, but behaved with dignity. On the scaffold, she gave a speech in which she confessed her sins, acknowledged that her punishment was just, and asked for prayers for her soul and mercy for her family. She was only around 19 years old. Catherine Howard's life was marked by the ill treatment and manipulation by those around her, something that profoundly influenced her tragic fate. The tale of Catherine's downfall resonates through history. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more royal history at your fingertips.